Good evening, and I'm back. Yes, it's Ira Epstein, and it is Monday, the 25th of April, 2022, about 6:45 p.m. Central Time. And what a way to come back. What wild markets. Had a great time on the trip. For those of you that are subscribers of mine, you know I put out every day my morning subscriber videos. I can tell you it's hellacious being on a Pacific time, having to get up 3, 4 in the morning to do that. It is hard, and then being in a car 8 to 10 hours, and that's what we did. We drove across America into California, where my son is stationed as a forest ranger, and this was an old father-dad trip. It was totally wonderful. I've never been in the mountains like this. He has, and this is very different. I went to the base camp, and then you go up into the mountains. Folks, these are mountains. They're full of snow. You had to put on snow chains. We couldn't go somewhere at different parts because they were telling you snow chain warned. This is now. And then it gets beautiful. You drop down a couple of thousand feet, the whole thing's different. It's just totally a whole different lifestyle. Certainly not my style, but I love that he was brought up with me, had all this, and he loves the other. Okay, so let's talk about other things. Today was the day you walk in and you're hearing about Beijing. That is really what it was all about. And we've seen the lockdown in Shanghai. Now we're seeing the lockdown or the potential of it in Beijing. The panic hit the food market. The people there aren't dumb. They're watching what's going on, running out of food in Shanghai. They're buying up everything. Just look at the pictures. They're not doctored, I'm sure of that. Medical supplies and what else. And now the testing begins at different sites throughout the city. And you know what they're going to do? The policy of the government is draconian. What they do is they lock you in. Their solution is let the virus run its course. You stay in your home. That's it. You can't leave. We'll deliver food to doorways. That's the game. Of course, you shut down the economy. You kill everything. You kill world demand. You kill world supply chains in the same process. And you kill yourself. And that's what's been going on. But when you don't have to answer to anybody but the other politicians, because it is not a democracy, you can do certain things. So all that Mr. Xi has to worry about is what do his fellow politicians think of his actions. Is this working? The growth isn't going to be there. They're going to lie about their growth. How could you now have Shanghai and now you're talking Beijing shutting down and you think you can meet your growth targets? Ha! Okay, so you look at all that and you move. In the gold market, well, gold's getting hit. Everything got hit today? There was nothing safe except U.S. Treasury markets, the dollar, and for a while the yen. The safe havens got bought because people didn't know what to do. As you know, late in the day, the stock market made its turn. But we'll talk about that in the financial market video. Here, I'm looking for gold to find its support on the weekly chart at 1888. The failure over the 2000 level. When we come and we look at a June bar chart, you're back into these areas that you were before. Is it going to hold? Is it a triple bottom or is it going to fail here? And if it fails, where the heck is it going? When you look at the chart action, you have a higher high, lower low. So while I was gone, what the market actually did, if I could show you this, is this broke the uptrend. You got up to that 2003 level. The key was not to get back under that low. That low happened on the 14th. I did that. That low happened on Tuesday, the 19th. We're at the 25th. So remember, I was leaving. And this started the break. To me, that was the kiss of death. Game's over at this point, and be careful. And bingo. Away you start moving to the downside. And now you have to ask yourself, where are you? So let's look at things. In moving average terms, once you got under that low and finally closed 2 days ago under the 18-day average, you set the policy for the lower market at that point. What do you do the first time you hit a Bollinger Band? On the upside, here, or the downside, the very first time. You're generally not embedded. Out you go. I teach that in the course. Take the darn course. Enhanced Bollinger Band. Just hit it at any point. Move your cursor up here. It'll take you right to my courses. You're going to learn this. I don't care if it's a stock market chart. Name me a chart. Anything. Cover the name. I don't want to know. It doesn't have to be a financial. Just make it a chart. If the Bollinger Bands are there, I'll give you this scenario with a slow stochastic reading. Simple. It's a challenge. That's what I look at. Could it fall further? Of course. You can go to the 100-day average. You can go anywhere. But I think you're in the support zone. That's what I'm saying. You blow out of this back up here, and you know why this is happening. The slowdown in China is hurting the demand for metals. So, be it the copper, the silver, the platinum, the palladium, they're all going to be under pressure when this occurs. Look at the silver. What changed? The Chinese situation changed dramatically. This is what, in the end, caused it. Now, I was surprised that you didn't do a better job of holding the Bollinger Band, the 200-day in gray, and the 100. You're oversold. I think the pros covered right here, and this is today. This is the day that I think they covered. The first challenge of the Bollinger Band, and we'll see what happens from this point. But I think they covered back here. They went up. I think they got out of longs, and I think they just came out of shorts. I am not saying I told you to buy there or sell there or any of that. I'm saying where I think they're covering whatever systems they may have. In the copper market, I think the market was actually being covered right back here. And once that went, the market went into its own form of a free fall, sort of grabbing onto, if you will, the Bollinger Band. It didn't even hold the 100-day average. That was, to me, a big surprise. But I understand it. It's the psychology of 50% of the market demand comes from a country that's going into its major cities and shutting them down and shutting down commerce for a while. This doesn't change the big picture of these markets. The picture of these markets is still very, very good because COVID will come and go and demand will return to the factory orders. Whatever they're not producing now, we want tomorrow. You do understand that. The supply chains are not full. When you look at platinum, fell apart the same way. Palladium did the same identical thing. All right, but this is where I think the pros are covering. This is not where I think new shorts are going on the market. And in the dollar, whole different game. You got an embedded reading. Embedded reading, you're buying the breaks. Take my research courses. See what I was saying on this. And this is where I think the pros are coming out. Follow that. How do you do all this? Again, put your cursor up there. Take a look at what this is about. You decide if that course is for you. I'm Ira. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day.